Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Banda Khalifa. I'm a physician and a PhD student here at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. I was also a dual MPH and MBA SOMA scholar. I've gone through the graduate school application process, gaining admission to Harvard, Yale, Columbia, and the rest of the top schools. I've also helped several students gain admission to Harvard, Johns Hopkins, Yale, and the rest of the top schools. So if you are new here, welcome back to the family. Kindly subscribe, share with those who will benefit from this video. On this channel, all we do is to empower people go through the graduate school application process and get admission to their dream schools. So today we are going to talk about very essential part of the graduate school application process, especially for those in public health, the SOPHAS application. So we are going to go through each step of the SOPHAS application, from creating an account to adding a program to adding recommenders, all the way to submitting. So I know it's going to be relatively long, but stick with me. This is going to be worth it. I answer very crucial questions on each section of the SOPHAS. So without wasting much time, let's dive in and go straight ahead. All right, so we're gonna set up our SOPHAS account. So as you may be aware, SOPHAS is like a centralized application service for public health. So any program that you're applying in public health, especially in the United States, and over 90% of them would be applied to SOPHAS. And the first thing you do is to create an account. So we are going to create an account on SOPHAS. So you go to create account, and then whatever you're filling in here should be your legal name or your legal information. And any information you provide, you have to ensure that it's in agreement with what is on your document, right? So your title, if you want, you can put your title. So I'll put doctor there, and then I'm going to go through the rest of the information here. And also make sure that you're putting the right email so that they can send you a verification code. So yes, and then I'll confirm my email. And then I'll put a number there. I agree. Username, I'll just go with Dr. Banda. Okay. So I'll write down my username. And then I'll choose a password. Probably go with something simple that I can remember. All right. So now that I have my password, I'll keep my password. Write it somewhere safe so I don't forget. I agree to the terms. Am I currently located in a European Union country? No. And then I'll create an account. So you'd have an extended question to open your profile. So let's go through this, right? Will you have completed a master's degree by your anticipated program start date? So for those who are applying for a PhD program, if you're still in a master's program, then you need to be careful how you answer this. If you will still be in your master's program by the time you're starting your program, then I think you shouldn't be applying in the first place. However, if you be completing your program by the time the program starts, then you would pick yes. So I'll just go with yes. Do you have a doctoral or nearly completed doctoral program within 24 months of completion? I'll pick no. Do you have a post-undergraduate health-related work experience or research experience? I presume pick yes. If yes, length. Depending on the length of experience you have, you choose that corresponding year. Did you receive a degree from a non-US institution? So those of us applying from outside of the US, you must pick yes, right? Did you receive a medical degree from a non-US institution? So for those who are MDs and applying from outside of the US, you pick yes. And then have you taken your USMLEs or are you ECFMG certified? If it's yes, if it's no, you pick which one you want. Indicate when you plan to begin your public health school. So I plan to begin in 2024. That it's next year, right? This year has almost always, I think has already begun, right? So the most likely period is 2024. And then we save the changes. Right. So this, once you get in, this is how the platform looks. The first thing I would ask you to do is to copy your CAS ID. Have you seen this number here? Called CAS ID. Copy it, right? So my CAS ID is 747771347. I will show you I will tell you the reason why we needed to copy this. So that has been copied. Now the next phase or the next step that I would tell you to do is to add a program, right? So let's assume we are applying to a Masters of Public Health program. So you see that there are 4 tabs: my application, add program, submit application, check status, right? Under my application, you have 4 areas: personal information, supporting information, academic history, and then program materials, right? Okay, so now let's add a program. So we are applying to a public health program, right? That is what we want to apply. So you pick the number of schools you want to apply to, and then you add, right? So I'm going to search in the search area. I'm going to put in Johns Hopkins. I'll just put in, so once you put in Johns Hopkins, you see that Johns Hopkins will pop up. All the programs are here. So depending on which program you're picking, so for example, if I'm applying to a PhD, there's a PhD program here, but the department, the program name is here. So you have to check the department and when it begins. So for this one, I'll just pick maybe MPH. I'm looking for Masters of Public Health. So you have to go through until you've seen Masters of Public Health. That corresponds, yes. So MPH, and you have to understand that the MPH, some of the programs have multiple formats. So the one we are interested in is MPH school-wide, full-time. It begins in the summer term, start year 2024, city is Baltimore, and it's on campus. So the delivery format is very important. Now, some public health schools will offer online or a hybrid format. But if you want to be on campus, make sure the one you're selecting is on campus, right? And then GRE test course, it says optional. Optional here means that if you have a very stellar GRE, you can submit. Otherwise, if it's average or mediocre, please leave it out, right? And we can see the deadline for submission is December 1st. So what I'm going to do, if you want to add a program, you go to the plus sign here and we'll add it, right? So we've added MPH from Johns Hopkins. Now we want to add two more programs. Let's type Harvard. Okay, so once you type Harvard, you see Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. So you go through. So for Harvard, what I'm going to choose is clinical effectiveness. You can click on this program and then you see the details of the program, their admission requirements, application requirements, statement of purpose, letters of reference, resume, transcript, and all those things. And you can, the most important thing that you would have to look at is a program description. So you have to read and check whether it fits what you're looking for. So you can either pick that one. If you're applying for a DRPH, this is where you select. So let's go with MPH 45 credit format. We want an on-campus application, and GRE is not required. So we are going to go with 45 credit of the Harvard MPH, and then we'll add one more. So we'll add Yale. So for Yale, what I'm going to apply for is MPH Advanced Professional MPH. You can click on it to give you more information on what the Advanced Professional MPH is. Delivery is on campus. Deadline is December 15th. GRE test score is optional. So we are going to add this one. We'll add this one. And then once we are done, I've added 3 programs, but you can add up to 8. I remember the first time I was applying for an MPH, I applied to like 7 schools, thinking that I was not going to get into all, but I did. So you can select 3 schools, go to continue, right? So this is like the fees, the total fees that you have to pay for the 3 schools. The more you add, the higher this goes. But I think if you're applying to only one program, it's about 125 or 150. But as you keep on adding, the incremental cost reduces. So let's go to continue my application. Okay, now we've added 3 programs. So if you come to the program material side, you see that there is 0/3, meaning that we've added 3 programs. Now, the next important thing to do is to go through your personal information, is to start filling out your personal information. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm just going to show you what are the components of the personal information. So the 0/7 here means that there are 7 sections under personal information. Academic history means 0/4 means there are sections under personal information. Academic history means 0/4 means there are 4 sections under academic history. Supporting information means there are 6 sections under supporting information, right? And as you complete each part, immediately you complete a section, this arc fills into green. So if you fill one part, you become 1/7. So let's go inside the personal information tab. So under personal information, you can see that we have release statement, biographic info, contact info, citizenship info, family info, race and ethnicity, and other information. So we can go to the first tab. You can start from anywhere, right? So let's go to the first tab. So the first tab is just to give you some release statement, which most people don't read. Okay, so almost always it's yes, right? but make sure you take your time and read this, right? So once you're done, you save and go to next section. So have you realized that once we finish the first section, it has turned 1/7 and this arc is filling up. Now we go to biographic information. You have to make sure these areas are very well filled. Now it says you have any materials under a formal legal name. If you've changed your name, this is the point that you have to indicate it, right? Your sex, gender identity, if you identify a different gender from your biologically assigned gender, then you would indicate it here. Pronouns, for me it's he, him. Even if, I know most people have here blank, but try and fill this out, because once you fill this out, it shows you understand the inclusivity, you understand the concepts underlying gender identity and all that. So do well to fill this up. If you identify as female, it can be she, her, male, he, him, and others, right? And then your birth information, make sure it's exactly as it's written on your birth certificate or your legal documents, right? So for the purpose of this, we'll pick something, say December 8th, 1999. Country, you search for Ghana. City, Accra. State, province, Greater Accra. Country of birth, county of birth. Okay, so county is not available, and then we save and continue, right? And then we'll have contact information, so fill this out completely. Country, I'll still go with Ghana, so I'm assuming I'm applying from Ghana, right? Street address, let's say Ikasant. Okay, let me use Gifford Road. City is Accra. State is Greater Accra. County not available. Zip code also not available, but I'll put zeros there. Approximate date through which current address is valid. So how long are you going to be there? I suggest you pick like all the way to like January 24, whichever date you want. What is your permanent address? So depending on your permanent address, it can be in Ghana, it can be elsewhere. So you fill that out. And then we have Accra, Greater Accra, none, 00. Phone is there. Email is here. Second party authorization is not required. Alternate email, if you have another email you want to use in case something happens, but I'll leave that place blank. So we'll save and continue. And we'll go to next section. Next section talks about citizenship information. So U.S. citizenship, are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a permanent resident or a non-resident, right? So if this is your first time, most likely it's going to be a non-resident. Country of citizenship, Ghana. Do you have a dual citizenship? If you have, yes. If you don't, no. Residency information, legal state of residence, international. Okay, so you're an international student. Legal county of resident, not available, right? Do you have a US visa? If you have, yes. If you don't, no. So let's go. So family information, add a parent or guardian. So under this section, I would advise if you have If you want to add your mom or you want to add your dad, you can add either of them. You don't have to add all of them, but you can add one or two. So I'll leave this place blank. And then race and ethnicity. Do you consider yourself to be Hispanic? No. Race, black or black American. Save and continue. And then other information, right? What is your first language? English. Add another language. So in this place, add as many languages as you can speak, right? Search through the language list. Whichever language you speak, make sure it's indicated. Military status, not a member of the military, not available. Academic infractions, hopefully it's no for you. Have you ever been disciplined for student conduct violation? Hopefully it's not. And then the background information is also very important. These are all areas that they may check to see whether you qualify for, financial aid or something. So check if any of the following apply to you. If you graduated from a high school from which low percentage of seniors receive high school diplomas, you can choose that. Yeah, if you attended a village school, yeah, most certainly you take this one. If you are from a school district where 50% or less of graduates go to college or where college education is not encouraged, you can select. So you go through these questions, and then whichever applies to you, you pick it up. Your parents' family income falls within the table's guidelines, and you're considered to have met the criteria for economically disadvantaged. So this is a federal low income poverty guideline. Go through it. If you're applying from Africa, unfortunately, most of the time you're going to pick yes, unless you are from a rich family. What is the type of geographical area where you were raised? So were you raised in a city, in a large urban city, or mid-sized town, or a small town? So I would pick small town, depending on yours. If you have a social security, you fill it. First generation student. So are you the first member of your immediate family to complete an undergrad degree? If it's yes, go ahead. Are you the first member of your immediate family to pursue graduate degree? Go ahead. Financial assistance. Are you a military service member? No. Are you applying for financial aid? So your bargaining for financial aid starts from here, right? Do you want to be considered for financial assistance? Yes. How did you hear about public health? So you can pick whichever one you want. All right, so now we're almost done with personal information, and the next important part is academic history. Right, so under academic history, you have 4 sections: high school attended, colleges attended, transcript entry, and standardized tests. This is pretty straightforward. High school, enter the name of your high school, dates attended. You can pick any date. Let me see. City. Okay, let's go this way. Okay, so schools in Greater Accra. Okay, so depending on where you attended school, then you would select. So yeah, for the purpose of this, you can just search for your school, Shanti region, Fenso, that's, and then you save, and then you save your school, right? So that is our high school. Graduation status, I have graduated, right? Which high school did you receive, or do you intend? That's date you graduated. You can pick, but make sure you're picking the correct date, right? I'm just doing this just to show you. And then colleges attended. I think this part is very important because this is where you would need to do your WES evaluation. So let's add colleges attended. Let's add University of Ghana, right? Did you obtain, or are you planning to obtain, a degree from this college or university? Yes. Degree awarded. Bachelors of Medicine, Bachelors of Surgery, major. Let's see if there's medicine here. Yes, so there's medicine. Which month did you earn your degree? So depending on which year you graduated, none. And then what type of term does this college or university use? I think we use a semester. So this is not applicable. Are you still attending this college? No. When did you attend this college? So you pick summer. Yeah, so just like, I think it's like August. Then make sure you put in the correct values, and then is it fall? No, still summer. You'd have to cross-check the month that you finished, right? 2016, save. Okay, so it says foreign transcript types official evaluation. So that means that we will have to do an official evaluation of our transcript. We've added our school already, so here we don't need to do anything. We don't have to do anything here again, right? Transcript entry, no, handle it myself. Yes, so this one says transcript entry. You do not need to enter transcript information for foreign colleges. What it means is that you may have to do a WES evaluation, right? And then standardized tests. Hopefully you wouldn't have to add any standardized tests, because most of the schools of public health are not requiring it. So you can choose, I am not adding any standardized tests. All right, so we go back, and it seems like we are done with personal information, academic history. Now one of the critical areas is supporting information. So supporting information is where you are going to add recommenders. You're going to talk about your experiences. You're going to talk about additional experiences, your achievements, licenses and certification that you've received, and then documents, right? This place is very, very crucial. So you have to know how to fill it out. Let's tackle recommendation. Okay. So the way the recommendation works is that you would have to, before you fill out this, you would have to discuss with your recommender, but ideally you you might have selected those who are likely to give you a recommendation. Get their details. If you can get their official email or their company email, SOPHAS prefers a company email to just a personal email like Gmail or Yahoo. So if the person is working within an institution, you can get the institution email, okay, or the institutional email, and tell them that you're going to send them a request to fill out the form. So how this works is that you create a recommendation request. So let's create our first recommendation request. So you can add at least 3 recommenders or 4, right? If you have additional, you can add, but the least you need, I think, is 3, right? So let's create our first recommender. So so this is recommendation 1. You click here, you put in the person's name. So let's say I'm giving you the recommendation. So you put in my name, you put in my address. Make sure it is a correct address that a person checks frequently. And if it's an institutional email like this, it is better than Yahoo or Gmail, right? And then due date, when do you need this recommendation to be submitted? So you've seen that the programs are, the deadline for submission is December 1st. So what you can do is to, for example, give yourself some room, right? So if it's December 1st, I'll typically say or tell them deadline for submission recommendation is November 15th, so that I'll keep reminding them. Now, here is your personal message to your recommender, right? So what do you want to tell him? Ideally, you might have discussed with him already. So this one, it will just be a formality or reminder. So you can just type something briefly. Maybe, dear Professor, Banda, as discussed in our previous conversation, I'm glad that you've accepted to give me a strong recommendation letter. Kindly find a link to help you submit the recommendation letter, right? Thank you. As it should be as brief as possible. And then once you're done, remember to waive your rights to access this recommendation. Even if you end up drafting the recommendation yourself, make sure you select yes for this portion. This literally means that you trust the person who is writing you the recommendation. You trust that a person is going to write you a strong recommendation, right? So it also means that you're not going to see the recommendation until it's been submitted or after it's been submitted, right? So if you're confident that you're going to get a strong recommendation, you always have to select I waive my rights to this recommendation. And then permission to contact recommender, obviously, yes. Permission for schools to contact recommender, yes. And then you save. So once you save, you see that recommendation requests, individual status requested. So I've requested a recommendation, submitted, not yet, right? So this is when I submitted a recommendation or the request. So what will happen is that your recommender will get a link, or you will get an email with a link to fill out a questionnaire and then upload the written recommendation letter. And then that will be it, right? So you do this for 3 people. And then you go to your experiences. This area will be easier once you've had your CV set up or your resume set up. Once your resume is complete, then you can add your experiences, right? And then any additional information you have, make sure if it's relevant to the application, make sure you add it. and then your achievements, your awards, your honors. If there's anything important that you think differentiates you from the other, you can select up to 6 and add as your achievements. Licenses and certifications, all the certificates you have. If you have any professional license, you can add it here. And then we come to the document section, right? So the document section, your resume is going to be the same resume to all the schools. That is why it's common. That is why it's found at a common section, right? So you upload your resume here, right? And then once you're done, now you've done personal information, academic history, supporting information, and then program materials. Now the program materials is where you would see all the schools you have selected or all the schools you have added that you're thinking of applying to. So we have Harvard here, we have Johns Hopkins, we have Yale. So what you have to do is to go into each program because there may be specific requirement for each program. So let's pick Johns Hopkins. So we go to Hopkins. You can see there's a special notes. All the program requirements is here. Application requirements, transcript, credential, evaluation, as has been stated here. Standardized test scores is optional. 3 letters of recommendation, statement of purpose and objectives, CV, resume, verification. Priority deadline is December 1st, right? So you have like the basic information about the program. And if you are an international student, I will entreat you to look at this particular place. Is the program you're applying to STEM designated? STEM designation helps you get optional practical training post-graduation for at least 3 years. So this one will not cause you to have headaches with your visa much. So check for programs that are STEM designated, right? And then it says GRE here is optional, right? And then the deadline for submission is December 1st, right? So this is just the basic information. And then each program will have specific questions you need to answer. And make sure that in answering this question, you're answering it with the best of your knowledge or with your best foot forward. Don't just think that, it's something that I need to fill out. Make sure you're answering it to the best of your knowledge. So have you applied to Bloomberg School of Public Health previously? No. Have you taken courses at Bloomberg School of Public Health? No. What was the most influential factor? An alumni. Hopefully you select an alumni and put my name there, right? Please specify the names and details of how you are influenced. Make sure you put my name, okay? And then the Coursera of FutureLearn influence your decision? No. And then understand that I can apply to a maximum of 3 programs and/or concentrations. Yes. So you literally have to fill out all this part. And then these kind of questions: have you ever been any charge or ethical professional misconduct? Hopefully it's no. International applicants and applicants who study outside of the US or English speaking Canada. So WES evaluation is here. Which credential agency are you planning to use? It's WES. Or World Evaluation Services here. World Education Services here, right? And then you just go through and make sure that publication and research experience, if you have any, make sure to indicate it. Acknowledge all the essential places. And then make sure you're answering this place correctly, devoid of grammatical errors, the same importance you give to your statement of purpose. These kind of questions you have to answer them with that same level of seriousness. Once you're done, you save, right? And then you go to documents, right? So documents, it's where you're going to add your statement of purpose. So have you realized that the statement of purpose is specifically located under each program? This means that your statement of purpose should be tailored to the specific program, right? So once you've written your statement of purpose for Johns Hopkins, you add it here, right? You upload it here, right? So let's say, for example, we've filled out all these parts. We've added our program. Once you come to check status, your recommendations will pop up here. So if you've requested 3 recommendations, all of them will pop up. If they submit it, you will see submitted. Your transcript, it says not required, but you will have to do WES evaluation for them to send your transcript to SOPHAS. And then it says application status in progress. You can actually download the entire application. So once it's done, you can download it, look through, make sure everything is correct before you come to submit application. So once everything is done, you can either submit all at once, or you can submit program after program depending on the deadline, right? So yeah, so this is basically how SOPHAS works. If you have any questions, link up, drop them in the comment section below, and then we'll trash it out. But I think you should be able to go through each of the sections as we've done. So I wish you all the best, and check out the other video on how to create or how to do a WES evaluation that is also required for international students. Bye-bye.